Hello, everyone. This is Pendy.
This is Bururian.
And this is AustNerevar.
Slime time, smash! Slime time, smash!
Why in the name of the goddess are you smashing your phone, Pendy?
Have you grown mad?
I'm playing the new Dragon Quest mobile game, Smash Grow. I thought you were supposed to smash your phone to participate in the beta version.
I hate to break it to you, buddy, but the beta's already over.
And that name is not to be taken so literally.
Oh, I've made a horrible mistake.
Horrible mistakes aside, maybe we should just move on to talk to those of us who actually played the beta test.
Good idea. We welcome back LordRoto to the show. We will all talk about our experience with the Dragon Quest Smash Grow beta we all got to participate in, even Pendy and his now broken phone.
Hello, guys.
Ha 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 ha. Sensible chuckle.
Okay, so to start out, let's get technical. What phone was everyone using, and did anyone have any issues with crashes or technical issues?
So, I have an atypical phone. It's a foldable, the Galaxy Fold 7.
Foldable.
Ooh.
And it played fine on the outside screen, but unfolded, it was part of the screens were cut off on the side. It's probably not, I even gave them feedback on it, but it's probably not anything they're that interested in fixing, just because I don't think a lot of people with this phone yet. But that's the only thing I didn't have any problems, except for that one weird bug. That's not really a technical issue. It's not a crash.
Oh, what was the bug?
The speedy mode.
Oh, no. That was not a bug. That was, we figured out later that if we had actually bothered to read all the stage things, or what are they called? The stage perimeters. Yeah, let's go with that. That was actually on purpose. There are certain stages where it was 2 times speed. That was part of the challenge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't read that either.
I ran into that a couple times. Yeah, I thought it was a bug at first as well.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people thought it was a bug at first, like when we had certain stages on hard mode where all the players had just 1 HP, and we're like, is this supposed to happen? And then it turns out, yes, that was just a challenge to that stage, is that you had to try and beat it with 1 HP per character. So same thing with the speed. It didn't really seem to be that much of a big deal, the 2 times speed, but for the glacial golem, it certainly was, because then I kept running into the ice accidentally and freezing myself.
So it sounds like they maybe need to make that more clear in the final build.
Yeah, it's like if you go to the stage, there's like a little section in the middle that says if there's any kind of like additional difficulties that they've added to it. And it's usually on the harder stages, not like the basic stages.
Yeah, they'll be in the hard mode.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about you, Bururian? What were you playing on?
I had an old iPhone 11 Pro. I had generally no issues with it, despite it being an older model of iPhone. I had a couple of times where the game would just straight up crash when I would either be on the main menu or in a stage if too much was going on and I would activate a coup de grace. The phone would just go, nope, and kill the app. But that only happened, I think, once or twice, and I put a lot of hours into it.
That's funny because that was almost the phone that I used to play it with, because that's what I used to have, and I was wanting to get a new phone, and I was having a problem with another gacha game, a Gundam gacha game, where if they did like a big cutscene of a Gundam doing a special attack or whatever, it would crash on me all the time, and I was getting annoyed. So I was like, this is probably going to happen in Smash Grow as well. So because I was going to get a new phone anyways, I was like, well, I'm going to play this beta. I'll get it before the beta starts, and I ended up playing with a used iPhone 15 Pro. That's what I ended up playing it with, and had no problems.
It plays pretty well and it looks pretty good even with the graphics cranked down, because when I crank them up, when I turn the smooth on and whatever else on, it looks really good on an iPhone 11 Pro, but boy, does it eat that battery.
Oh, I bet.
Like if I do one stage, I can lose anywhere from 2 to 4% of my battery.
So what about you, Roto?
But yeah, so I have a Galaxy S2 FE, so it's like their less packaged versions of like the Galaxy line. I didn't have too much issues with my game. My phone gets pretty hot if I play something for a little bit. Otherwise, that's kind of like typical. I get that also with the Gundam game. But it seemed to run like pretty good. I just left the settings kind of as their like default. And yeah, I was going to say I thought there were some issues, but I think I was just saying what you guys were saying with the speed up.
Now, Bururian, since you were playing with that older iPhone, did you do any of the co-op? Because that could really clutter the screen with like 4 people going on at the same time.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple of times. There were disconnects happening, but I think it was the person who was the host because
Yeah.
on the first day we tried to run it and it kept disconnecting over and over and over again. And the guy was finally like, "Sorry guys, I'm on a really 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 old phone and it keeps crashing." So I think that was the reason why we kept having disconnects. But after that, it seemed pretty okay. I never really seemed to have a problem.
Oh, good.
So, what classes and main weapons did everyone end up with?
So I kept my main guy a warrior, and then I changed my priest character to a thief, and I also kept the mage. So I stayed with pretty standard classes. I know there was a lot more to mess with, but seeing as how we only had a week to really futz around with the game, I didn't want to spend too much time trying to level up a bunch of different vocations. So I just stuck with those three kind of regular ones. And for their weapons, I managed to pull most of the 3-star weapons, like the metal edge boomerang. I had a a 5 times ascended 3-star of that. I think I hit 3 or 4 on the Falcon Blade, and then I had a shiver stick, which I never pulled a second one of. Those are very effective weapons,
Yes.
especially that shiver stick.
Funny because out of those, that's like one I didn't really get to use very much. I just kind of stuck it with like one of the side characters. I went with like a thief for my main character, and I essentially just would swap between the Falcon Blade or the like Night Element boomerang. I forget what it was called.
Was that
Again.
was that the plume one?
Yeah. And
Because that was the other 3-star boomerang, I think.
yeah,
Yep.
I liked how the boomerangs worked. I feel like they don't get too much love in the mainline game, so I thought it was cool to see them like utilized to this effect.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And the same with the claws. And yeah, for like my other characters, I kind of just left them as like the mage and priest, because like Bururian, since like we weren't carrying over our save data, I didn't put too much effort into a lot of like the extra fluff.
No, that makes sense. I probably went a little too hardcore in my version. I was
You did if I saw the picture.
I think I put in like at least 30-ish hours, maybe even up to 40 into this. I just went nuts.
Dang, man.
So, but it's probably gonna be a while before we get to play this. They said 2026 at some point, so I'm at the earliest. I'm thinking like maybe February if we're lucky. So it'll be
Probably, yeah.
like a new experience all over again for me. But I had fun. I had so much fun in this game, so I was just playing it and playing it and playing it. I had a lot of extra time, so I just went hardcore with it. But I started out with a priest, and then I had a martial artist and a thief. I went with those three, and eventually I changed my priest to a mage. One of the better priest weapons, I guess, was that spear that could do the wind attack. But I didn't get that until like the last day.
The sandstorm spear or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that was a good spear.
I finally pulled it like on the last day. So I got the shiver stick and I was like, oh, I'm going to probably be more effective with the mage. So I ended up getting the shiver stick and got a couple of those. I got
That spear was the only one I didn't get to try.
I got
Yeah.
that, but I didn't really use it. Yeah.
So I ended up with the mage with the shiver stick, which was really effective.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
had for my martial artist, I had the crystal claws. That was really good. And then I had the thief that had the metal edge boomerang, and that ended up being my main. Like, wasn't my main character, but that's what I ended up using more than any of my other characters or weapons, is because I could just long range do the metal edge boomerang. It was good for metal enemies. The thing that I loved about it the most is that you can spam the supers so easily, because
Yeah.
most of the
Right.
supers had like a rating of a 5 to be able to get to it, but the boomerang had a 3, so you got the super like so much quicker. So that made the game a lot. I'm not like a big action guy, so that made the game a lot more easy for me, so that I could actually do the more difficult areas. So that helped out a lot. So that was my favorite for
Yeah,
sure.
that's good.
Yeah, I just used the crystal claws, and I don't think I changed my main hero to martial artist and left everybody else the same because didn't really feel like grinding out a whole bunch of other classes. But yeah, and like I said, I got the sandstorm spear. Didn't really use it because I had already upgraded everyone else's gear by that point. But yeah, the crystal claws were like the best, like the biggest damage dealing thing I had.
I think those were basically the meta weapons for the beta, because that was the one that everybody was talking about.
Saw a lot of people posting like pictures with with those setups. Yeah.
I wish I'd written it down, but I saw that different classes gave different party effects, which was cool. And I just can't remember what the different party effects were, but I did appreciate that like I think like the mage would give like the whole party like more agility or something like that, and the martial artists would have like more critical hits for everybody. I can't remember what they were exactly, but each different class had a different party effect, which I thought was cool.
Be interesting if they do like team setup combos where like depending on if you have like two specific party like job types or even like a combination of three, they give like a super like coup de grace or something like that.
Oh, that would be
Oh,
interesting,
yeah.
actually.
I did notice that like I don't know if it was like a mage thing or like a shiver stick thing, but because I had I think I'm pretty sure it's because of the shiver stick. Like even if I was playing with somebody else that wasn't the shiver stick person, like I would have like this ability where like if I got attacked, it would like freeze the enemy, and then I could run away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting as well.
So, like, continuing off of that, what did everybody else think about the mechanics to equip, like, memories and fill out the various vocation trees?
Yeah, I thought that was fun. It was a little confusing with the vocation tree, with trying to figure out how to place orbs. And it was really tough because you had to be an S rank orb. And so getting S rank orbs was very difficult in this game. And so I was confused on like what could go where, even when I finally did get some S orbs. But I can only look at myself for that kind of thing because I never bothered to read the guide that was in the menu. So maybe it's easy to figure it out if I just bothered to read the little guide that came with the game, but I didn't do that. So I'll make sure to do that when the game releases.
It was supposed to, it's S rank memories, and then each slot had a criteria that you would have to meet to place the orb down.
Yeah, but it was like criteria would be like +10. I'd be like +10 what? I'm confused.
Probably +10 cost.
Yeah, probably. I was just lazy and I didn't read the guide, so I'll make sure to do that when the game actually comes out. But it was interesting to kind of build up your memories because you would get a memory could drop from any different type of monster. And I ended up that was the last thing I ended up grinding at the end of the game is I wanted to get all 48, I think it was 48 memories. What was it? Yeah, 48. Yeah, it's a screenshot of it. And some of those were, God, they wouldn't drop. Some of them were very rare because I had to go to the event memories for the different monsters, and I kept doing that flame. I think it was a flame called the Flame Gauntlet, and I did that board more times than I can count because some of those just would not drop. It's one of the last things I got just to say I could. But I did appreciate being able to equip the different memories to your different characters, and I didn't get that deep into it. I let the computer handle that for me for the most part because there's an auto equip function with the memories, and I usually like 9 times out of 10 I would just do auto equip and it would tell me, hey, your battle power will be better if you do this one. I'm like, okay, computer, sounds good to me. So that's what I ended up doing. What about you, Aust?
I did not care for any of that.
Oh.
I feel like the whole upgrading system and equipping stuff was a grind and a slog. I did not want to do any of it.
I totally get that.
No, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Roto?
Yeah, when I first saw the medals, I kind of was like, I was kind of happy to see them in terms of like the older Dragon Quest 3, right? The Game Boy Color ones where you got the medals.
Yeah.
And so I thought they were going to be like some sort of collectible like that. And then when I saw that like they were the gear and how to upgrade them, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty grindy. So I kind of hope that they tune that out a bit more for the full release because yeah, like I mean, I ended up basically just doing what you were doing, Pendy, for like auto equipping them. And you can argue that like if you're not caring to like invest time in it yourself and just letting the game do it, then the game's like compensating with in terms of like the complexity of it.
I was not really a fan of the whole memories. I mean, I like the idea of them, but the approach I feel is, as echoed thus far, very grindy because the memories that drop are all based off of RNG because they, for those of you who don't know, when there's most monsters drop a medal, and that medal can be anywhere from a D rank to an S rank. And if you have a D rank one and you want to upgrade it to a C rank one, you need 3 D ranks to upgrade it to a C. And then if you want to get that C to a B, you need 3 C ranks, which each require 3 D ranks. And if you are like me and have terrible RNG with drops in a lot of video games, you get lots and lots of C's and D's, but very little above anything else. I think I ran the Reconator gauntlet about a good 25 times, and he would only drop D rank medals for me. To whereas I saw other people, I got S on the first try, and it's like,
That was me.
yeah, yeah. So
was total luck.
I'm not a fan of that. Or if they were to tweak the drop rate a little bit better for that, because they do give stat buffs, they give ability buffs. You know, some of them will be like, hey, you start with this ability already. So that way when you're running blessings in the stages, you get a kind of an advantageous start on upgrading that stuff. As far as the vocation trees go, this feels almost exactly like the skill tree out of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I've put a lot of time into that gacha, and oh boy, it requires a lot of grinding in those training rooms to get those drops to upgrade for marginally improved stats, but that's kind of what you have to do to advance the game. Otherwise, you won't be able to continue playing the story game at any considerable pace. But hopefully that all gets a little tweaked for the better, because it felt all very, very overbearing in the beta.
And we ain't dropping money yet.
And yeah, and we're not even dropping money yet.
Well, I think it felt overbearing to a lot of people in this beta is because they threw a lot of stuff at us all at once for 1 week of time. So, yeah, there's that. And I did like the vocation tree overall. I know it is going to be like a very long grind to get everything, and like there's based off levels and all sorts of things like that. But I did like that. I noticed before it ended that there are certain branches of the tree where if you got it, it was something that could carry over to different classes. So they're definitely going to have, it hints that they're definitely going to encourage like class changes. They'll probably have advanced classes where you can combine classes, I'm guessing, to get the more advanced classes and stuff like that. And there's certain things in the vocation trees. I think it was labeled with hero, and I think that meant that if you got that one, then it, no matter what class you were, that particular buff would actually stay with you. So I was appreciative to see that, at least.
Yeah, that sounds like a very like high level down the road, class building kind of thing.
Yeah, the potential they could do with like jobs too, especially pulling from other Dragon Quest games, could have some neat paths there. So
all of that is definitely for the whales very early on.
yeah.
So, what did everyone think of the voice acting and the music?
I thought it was pretty good. Just like with any Dragon Quest spin-off game, they used, classic Dragon Quest music. I think I heard some tracks from 8 that I recognized in some other games. Voice acting was good. I thought Rolly was amusing. I'd be interested to see if they're going to do an English dub or not. I do know, I know in some other gacha games they don't bother to do that, like the Gundam game that me and Roto play that we mentioned before. They just use Japanese voice acting for the very little voice acting that they do, except for character yell stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I wonder if they'll do a dub or not. But it was decent, classic Dragon Quest music and decent voice acting for some of the scenes and stuff. But it was mostly just text and reading.
I played it a lot, while doing other things or while everyone was asleep in bed, and so I didn't always have the sound turned up. But yeah, I mean the music was, classic DQ, and the voice acting was fine.
Yeah, no complaints about the voice acting. I like Rolly being in Japanese. Yeah, I don't think it needs an English dub. I don't think they'll bother with an English dub, personally. A nice selection of classic Dragon Quest tunes. I always like hearing any of the music from Dragon Quest VIII. It's just very whimsical, very enjoyable.
Yeah, sitting on like the main menu, like the main home screen where they were playing like the world map tune for 8, I was like,
Oh yeah,
this hits the nostalgia just right.
That's the good stuff.
But yeah, I mean, more or less agree. I'm like, have they dubbed like any of the other Dragon Quest mobile games?
No, not that
Not the
I don't
mobile
think so.
games.
No, I don't remember for TAC, but definitely not Stars.
The only thing that gets my hope up about that is that they have done dubs for like the remakes, like the HD 2D remakes 3 and 1 and 2. But this is mobile, so yeah, they'll probably like budget not want to do that.
Yeah, because see, then I'd be curious. Did they dub the Octopath Traveler mobile game? Does that have English voices? I don't I never played it myself, but because I think that's like the department that's handling those is all connected.
That's a good question.
That is.
Because I know like in all of those, like the guys that do the HD2D thing, like they always have like very heavy like English like casts in all of their games. It feels like. So I don't know if that's why like Dragon Quest got like all the voiced treatment, but in terms of like Smash Grow, I mean, yeah, I agree that like the voice actors are all fine, but it is nice when like Dragon Quest games do get dubbed, because like Dragon Quest especially feels like, and that could be because I love how they like handled 8 and everything, but I feel like Dragon Quest benefits a lot, especially when they do like the accents and stuff in the text. Kind of adds that like extra level of
That,
yeah.
Yeah.
Va-va-voom.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. It's nice when they do it. I just can't see them putting too much into this because, not to be a negative Nancy about it, but like the average half-life for a mobile gacha for Dragon Quest in the States is like 2 years.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll see if they put. I would be surprised if they did it, because I think Rolly is kind of really the only one that has any voiced lines, because you always hear him chirping and talking in the menus.
True.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I want to say this is the second Dragon Quest mobile game that they're actually bothering to release worldwide and in Japan at the same time, because they did that with the Dai, and that dropped off pretty early. But that dropped off pretty early in Japan too. That didn't last anywhere. But like Tact was 6 months behind.
The Dai game that stopped in Japan too, right?
Oh yeah, it stopped everywhere all at once.
Okay.
That wasn't just us. That was
Rip.
that was just like apparently either the whole plan from the get-go was like, hey, we're going to do this Dai mobile game while Dai is still hot, and then we'll drop it, or it just never really got anywhere. Yeah, it dropped. Japan and global dropped at the same time. It wasn't like Tact where we got it 6 months behind and then had it for 3 years, and then they're like, nah, bye, and then it continued to go on in Japan. Totally different. Or like Stars, where we got it 5 years after the fact, or anything like that.
And it's still going in Japan.
It's about to end, though. It's going to end on the 10th year.
Wait, Tact is finally?
Or not
No, not
Tag,
Tact.
Stars.
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 Stars is about to end.
Yeah.
It's just like with Superlight, it lasted 10 years, which is pretty damn good for a mobile game. Period.
Yeah, seriously.
I feel like the longer they last, though, the more painful it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Especially for all like the people that have invested like all that time. It took like a double-edged sword playing a mobile game.
So did anyone enjoy the droney missions, the little side quests that you could do?
Yeah, I enjoyed those. I kind of like those things in mobile games where like I know some people aren't fond of like that whole thing of like, it's not something that you're doing. It's like something you're coming back in to check up on. But I feel like that's a nice way to almost discourage like constant play for a while. For example, if like other people have played the Pokemon Pocket like mobile game, like that game gives you like, you basically get like a free pack to open like every 12 hours. And on one hand, that game encourages whales to like, you keep opening more packs. But like, I'm cool with not spending the money because I like, oh, well, I'll just check in like tomorrow and I'll have another 2 packs. So I like that aspect of the rolly stuff. I thought it was cool to get the little, how each area had like a key items you could find that had like little lore bits. I generally like all the rolly stuff just because I love like killing machines, like my favorite monster. So the little tiny ones are cute. I'd probably buy a plush or 3 of them.
What about you, Bururian?
Well, first, to make a comment on that Pokemon Pocket thing, I do participate in that just because it's easier to do that than find actual Pokemon cards. But
yeah,
they actually do cap you daily for gold you can use to open packs.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
I'll have to add you, by the way.
Yeah, it's they cap you at 720 gold per day.
Oh, is that all?
That's it. But that's
how much money is that?
That's about $150 a day.
Oh my God.
Roughly. If you're buying like the big packs, because the big pack is like you get like 600 Pokegold for $100. Anyways, the rolling missions, to go the other way with what Roto said, it's great to keep you from constantly checking in and playing, but it's also that thing that you go, all right, I'm gonna send Rolly out for 8 hours, and then it gets you to check back into the game those 8 hours later because you go, oh, Rolly's coming back. Let's see what he's got for me.
True.
Maybe he's got one of those nice little rewards that'll get me some gems.
Give me the hit, Rolly.
But I like it. I like him. It's something to do in the game. It's Ever Crisis does the same exact thing, but with chocobos. You just send a chocobo to search a certain area, and it comes back, and you get basically the same kind of thing. So they're definitely following a template, though these are the only two games that I am aware of that do this exact kind of thing. And I like that you can upgrade them once you get the parts to do it. Again, my RNG never allowed me to get them past level 2 because I just never got the return on the parts that I needed to level them up. But I got tons of other stuff.
Yeah, same for me. I kept not getting like the screws I needed for like one upgrade or something. And I was just like, well, all right.
Because you need there's 3 item types that you need to upgrade them, and you need a certain amount of each item type. And I had koodles of like 2 of them, and then the third one it would just never give me, so I just could not level them up. So I never got, because I believe we had it was, you start at level 1, and at level 5 you get more stuff, and I think at level 10 you get even more stuff. And I didn't even make it.
Yeah, you get more dronies. So like once you get to level 5, you get a second droney, which is what I got to. Well, I got beyond that, but I didn't get to the point where you could get 3 dronies. So you could send out like up to, at least in the beta, you'd send up to 3 dronies out in 3 different places or the same place.
Okay.
And do that all at once.
Yeah, I never got that far, but I got enough items at least once to do an instant return on a droney mission, so I was able to pull them back and send them out again immediately. So, yeah, something to do. See what you get. You see that dopamine hit.
Yeah, that slime invasion event was probably the number 1 place to get like droney upgrade parts and stuff like that. That was probably the good place.
Yeah.
I think that was the best place for that.
Yeah, like the reward management stuff was like my least favorite part of the game, so I didn't care for anything that added more rewards to check up on.
So for me, I did like this a lot. It reminded me a lot of that function in Treasures. I forget what it was called, but you could do the same type of thing where you sent out a little guy to help you get more treasure.
Right.
And the same concept, except you had the dronies going out to, you could get the special items that would have some lore to them, which was fun. And there was like the Puff Puff Pass, which I thought was my most treasured item of what I got. That was hilarious. And you could exchange those items for gems. And if you filled out your whole board for an entire level, because we had 3 different levels of story missions, then you could get even more gems for that, for completing your little chart. And then it would give you monster memories as well. So that was good. So that was another way that you could get monster memories beyond just playing the levels over and over again, is that droney could go out, or your army of dronies could go out and get you more. So I did like that.
Every time I got medals, I only got D rank medals.
Rip.
Oh, and then there's and that reminds me, and I bet this influences it as well, but there was the droney special items that you could attach to him before he went out. There was like 3 different slots. And again, those were items you could find from doing the slime invasion event and putting the slime gel into that machine and getting rewards. But there was like 3 different little like remotes or different little mechanical items that you could attach to your droney, up to 3 of them, and then that would make your return even more guaranteed to get better stuff. Now I don't remember what my highest medal or what my highest rank of memory was from coming back from that, even if I like maxed them out. It definitely made it better for the type of the amount of items that I got by having those.
Yeah, I had a couple of those that I would attach to it, and I think I got some. I think that's how I got the actual, like, each area had like special rewards that you could earn, and you would get gems from those, and then once you got all of those, you got even more gems or something like that. And I got a few of those for both of them, but I never finished out either one of them.
Definitely seem like the role mode itself seems like it'll be much more of a benefit for like people playing like in the long term. Like it's hard to like really see all that it can give. Like, but as like a passive like item farming method, it would probably see like a lot of use in the full game.
So, what was everyone's impressions on the story and characters?
Well, we didn't get to see too terribly much of the story because we only went through the first 3 chapters, and in a very mobile gacha way, even though you do 3 chapters of story, we really don't get all that much story because it's going to be a very long game. I think that was one of my biggest complaints about it, because there was like, I think somewhere between 50 to 60 stages total in the like quote unquote story mode, and you don't get you don't get story content on every stage that you play. But I felt like there was a lot of dialogue for an actual little amount of story told. So I'd have to see more, but so far I'm kind of unimpressed with the story. Even though I liked the character interactions, I thought that those were great. I loved, how Rolly interacts with Goopy and the girl that you run into and the other guy that we run into whose names I don't remember at this point. But yeah, character interactions, thumbs up. Great story so far. Thumbs down. Needs better writing. That was one of the things that I put into the closed beta survey is it's too wordy for too little being said.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And like when games do that, it really starts to lose me just because it's not like it's hard to follow. It's just my interest wanes. Even if it's an otherwise decent story.
Yeah, like I think the story will be decent, but it feels like someone says a paragraph when all they're saying is a sentence.
Makes it feel like a filler episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I play games almost primarily for their stories. There are a few that I don't, but I found myself like almost relieved when I would start a level and there was no dialogue beforehand. But yeah, aside from that, like the characters, I liked Rolly. I think he's probably the one of the best little guide assistant guys that they've done, because like every one of these games has a partner that like takes you through the game. It's usually like a pink.
Yeah, mascot.
It's usually a pink mascot like Cyril, or was it Mendini was one of them, and
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, Goopy is the pink slime in this one.
yeah, there's that too.
True.
And I'm not saying that Rolly was even that well written. I think the design was probably one of the better things that they could have done.
Yeah, it's interesting because like that's like I feel like the ultimate struggle of trying to create a narrative when you have like a silent protagonist, because you don't have like someone that like NPCs can bounce off of. So like they need to have almost like a surrogate like character. But like the characters they had, I liked, but like yeah, I agree with what the others have said about how like there's a lot of fluff and not really much is going on, and it always seems like that's the two sides of like a lot of mobile games, because they're either like really extensive story content or like basically nothing at all, like stuff to just get you from point A to point B, but nothing's really said. But that being said, that there is potential in the world, like how they set up, like you're part of this group that's basically going around doing like mercenary missions. That opens the way for a lot of content that has like played well in Dragon Quest games. Like a lot of good Dragon Quest games is like about the stories that you go to. It's just that this game didn't really give you the opportunity to demonstrate that. And hopefully, it's tough to say, because like if that's how like the first 3 chapters are, it's hard to imagine if they don't like completely reshift around those chapters, how better it'll be down the road. Because then what are they going to like make the beginning super dry and then backload like really interesting story beats? I don't know.
At least with the Dragon Quest games that I played, the gacha ones, they have this kind of long-term story that they have in mind, and it's something that they roll out over a number of years. Not like, hey, here's a 30 or 40-hour game and a story to digest. It's like, here, we're going to slowly give this to you over a very long period of time, and I think that gets to people sometimes because there's very slow progression.
I wanted to go to the moon in Dragon Quest of the Stars, and we didn't get to go to the moon, and then the game sort of fell off, so I played a Star Trek gacha game, and then after that, I don't like gachas anymore. That's been my journey.
No, I don't blame you, because you got to have a certain mindset to be able to get into that very slow progression of a long-standing story in a lot of gacha games, which I don't mind. If the characters are fun to hang out with and they have entertaining character interactions. And so far in this game, I did enjoy it because of characters like Rolly or characters like Goopy, because those were funny interactions. There's like that screenshot that I have of where Goopy gets on top of Rolly for the first time, and Rolly's like, "I've been slimed," and little stuff like that I appreciate. And I thought Tact was good with that, because like Mendini and help me out, who's the slime character with the map?
I have forgotten all their names at this point.
I know
Do something.
Okay.
I know you're talking. Oh, is it No, I don't know.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad. So, but yes, but
It's not our fault.
it's been a number
You
of years.
didn't end the game.
But and I have the plush for the character, and I can't.
Ooh,
That's how bad I am with
that's
names.
pretty bad. If you got the
But
plus
his
one.
name,
It is,
if he's
but
localized,
that's
his name should be Magellan. Is
That's
that
it.
Magellan.
Is that really it?
I think that's it. That's Magellan. Yeah,
Oh, well, that's perfect.
there we go. It was Mendini and Magellan, and those two characters were absolutely hilarious to watch them interact with each other. So, and the killing machine mare that was falling apart, loved him too. So, if they have very interesting characters that are going back and forth, then I can deal with like a long story that's going to take forever to progress, and I'm fine with it. And in this game so far, I did like those characters, and I can't remember her name either, but the female character that's in Smash Bros, she seems to have an interesting backstory that they kind of hinted at a little bit. She seems to be
The childhood friend. Woo.
potential royalty and whatnot, and there seems to be some stuff going on in her hometown, so that's where we were progressing towards, because she took off for that. So I did like that. It's like the Die mobile game would be an example of where I don't like it because I didn't like the characters. Like obviously I love the Die stuff, but then the original characters that they brought in, like that weird looking pink tracky with the key for a tail, that was nightmare fuel, and I wasn't really impressed with that one.
In terms of like the long-winded storytelling in this game, I know I've plugged this 2 times before, but Ever Crisis does it in a very interesting way. Of there is like the original story for that game, which is like the first soldier, which is like, Sephiroth when he was young. But as they roll slowly through that story, they have 2 other story modes in the same style of gameplay, which is like Crisis Core and original Final Fantasy VII. So they placate everybody by letting you run through those scenarios again slowly as they roll through the original story content for the actual gacha game.
Yeah, Die was the same way. It had the Die story that it ran through and original story.
That kept me playing it for a long time because of that. Because when I was waiting for the next story stuff, they would plug in, new scenarios for 7 and Crisis Core, and I go, all right, let's do this. I know what's going to happen. I want to see how they handle it in, gacha form and stuff like that.
Now, see, as you guys were talking about it, that what made me think of it is that like the wealth of Dragon Quest stories we know about, right? So they could do like little like what if scenarios where you play through like events of like Dragon Quest 1 or 8 or whatever, where you like run through the levels like as those party members, and maybe like you don't customize their like gear and stuff, and it's kind of just like maybe that's a way to unload like story stuff where you can like like chase down Dulmagus or whatever you're doing. Now, since the gacha is around gear, not necessarily characters, I'm not sure how they'd want to benefit from that unless you could like dress up as existing Dragon Quest characters, and that'd be a good way for them to like encourage it and monetize it.
Well, yeah, in Stars they did both, because you could get the gear from the different characters, and sometimes they had guest characters that would help you in fights.
Yeah, it could be a situation of they could run an event to where you're playing as these characters and such.
Yeah,
that would be good.
And that way you don't have to. You could be like, well, we're gonna play as this character, but I don't know. You could choose the weapon that you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of special events, what did everybody think about the special slime invasion event?
I thought it was cute. I did love the ending with the slime fireworks as well. That was fun.
That was my favorite
that
part.
was nice.
The professor or whatever he was goofy. And
Goopenheimer should have been his name.
That would have been great. And he had his little slime knight assistant that was cute. Well, and that machine that he built where you're gathering slime gel or jelly, I forget which way it was, gel or jelly. That was like huge when it came to getting so many different valuable different items. Like I was saying before, that was great for the droney stuff, and it was great for so many other things that you could use it for. So it was good. And they had many different facets to the event. It had the challenge where you had to beat up the Slime Knight boss. It had the different story levels, and it had the co-op. I think the co-op was the co-op attached to that too? I think that was part of the event.
The co-op,
well.
I believe, was attached to the slime event.
Yeah, and it had like a gauntlet thing to it, so it had many different facets to it, which I thought so it kept me busy. So I did like it. What did you think, Roto?
I liked the event. I pretty much just did it for like the little story beats. So I also like the little slime fireworks.
Hmm.
but I didn't do a lot of it for them because like when you were telling me about the materials, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize.
Oh yeah, there was so much stuff you could get from that machine. It was insane.
I did
And
not
the
benefit.
best way to gather the materials to be able to feed that machine was doing the co-op, because that gave you a lot of the slime goop, and also running the like specialty events. Like if you got enough, because you needed special cards to do the Slime Knight boss, that would give you a lot. And I think one of the gauntlets would the King Slime gauntlet would give you a lot as well, because once that became available, because that wasn't available at first, that was available later. Once you could do the King Slime gauntlet, that gave you a lot as well. So co-op and King Slime gauntlet was probably your best bet to get all that stuff.
Full release.
Feed the machine.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I didn't do a lot of it either. I did a few. I don't know how much I did, but I didn't get a lot of the stuff that you could unlock from it. Much of the game just sort of felt the same to me. It was just as the gameplay was just as compelling there as it was with in the story mode.
I did it to do it. I liked the story. I enjoyed the story bit of it. I didn't care enough to do as much for the slime polls because I just felt like it was taking time away from doing other stuff because there was plenty to do in the closed beta, and I knew I wasn't going to have time to do all of it. So that one fell a little bit by the wayside. So I did some pulls on it. I never got it past level 1. I heard some people got it up to, I think, level 3 or something like that.
Yep, that was the max. I got mine up there.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
Sean.
Yeah, so I did, I think I did at least, I don't know, 5 or 10 pulls on it, and that's kind of where I stopped because I got all of the items that were part of the success with finesse.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, that's good enough for me for the beta because I don't want to keep spending time trying to pull in junk because that's just my luck with this kind of thing. I don't know why I'm playing a gacha when I have such terrible drop luck.
I know, like I was saying before, it was a lot to do in a little amount of time. Were it
Yeah.
not for the fact that I am retired and currently a college student, I would not have the time to do as much as I did. But I had
Oh, yeah.
tons of free time, so I was just like going at it all the time.
But yeah, that's about where I'm at. I played through the story. I enjoyed the slime fireworks, as everybody should.
So how did everyone do in the gauntlet, and did everyone attempt the the killy? I think I misread that.
Killer Rolly.
The killer Rolly event. Ost, we'll start with you.
Well, I did not do the Killy Rolly event, and I did like the Gauntlet once, I think, and I did not do very well at all. I mostly stuck to the main story with this. I think I did, like I said, I did it once, and my score was pretty low.
Yeah, I'm with Aust on this. I did extremely poor in the Gauntlet, even though I had really good gear. I just could not get the blessing loadout. That I was just seeing other people was just. I would go in with my 5 times ascended metal edged boomerang that everybody said was the best thing for this, and I had really good emblem or memories set up and really good gear set up, and there was just a score ceiling that I just could not crack, and then everybody was busting that by about 10 or 15 times the score, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I got so frustrated with it, I was like, you know what? This is the closed beta. I'm not even going to worry about it. I did my best. And then I did the Killer Rolly event, and I tried it probably about a dozen times, and I just could not get past the point where the glacial golems spawn because there is just so much going on the screen at that point because they all have AoE attacks as well as ranged attacks, and they're spitting bullet hell, and it was too much for me on mobile controls. So I did very, very poor. I got halfway through just about every time and just could not get past that. So that's where I stopped.
What about you, Roto?
Essentially the same for me. I didn't do super great, and I didn't do the Killy event, but in the Gundam game, I do okay in PvP.
I did great in the Mega Man X dive PvP, but not here.
They need to give us more time to prepare.
So I did pretty well with the gauntlet. I ended up getting legend rank 32.
Dang, top 50.
Yeah. I don't think we competed with the Japanese. I think we competed with everybody else. I didn't see any Japanese characters.
I heard the Square Enix employee in the official Discord say that Japan was separate from global for the beta test.
Cowards!
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw like Chinese, I saw Korean, but I didn't see Japanese. So then I bet I would have been like 150 if like the Japanese were factored into it too, because they're nuts. I've seen them go nuts
There.
in other mobile games, and it's just mind blowing.
And it's wild too because we're all on the same page. Nobody's put money into this game, so it's like, what can
Right.
you pull out of it?
Yeah, true. But I always remember like seeing one of my trips to Japan. I was like on one of the trains and I saw a guy playing Dragon Quest Walk, and he had like a crazy team, like with all the effects. And I'm like, dear Lord, what is that?
It was like seeing the guys in Treasures because we could interact with the Japanese people in Treasures, and I'd see some of their loadouts sometime, and I'm like, whoa.
You just saunter up to the fella and you go, Draki?
But no, the Gauntlet was fun. Like I said, I got Legend 32. That's about as good as I could go. Like I said, I'm not like a huge action person.
That's still pretty good.
Not as good as someone that we've interviewed before, Pecci. Did you see him going around? He was like number 1 or
Oh.
number 2 by the time.
Oh,
he
yeah,
was-
he was sharing like pictures online.
Yeah, he was number 1 for a minute, and I think he ended at Legend 3.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. But still, like, and then like the gulf between like my score and like his score, like the top 3 guys, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the top guy was talking about it in the Discord, and he was saying something like he bases his build off of crit chance, and that's why.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Secret sauce.
And so I ended up doing the Killer Roly event as well. And holy cow, that put my poor skills to the test because that was so difficult. Like you were saying, Bururian, like there's certain sections where there's just so much going on at the screen at the same time that you have to try and dodge that it becomes nigh impossible. And the biggest difficulty for me before I beat it was the fire section, because those fire guys would come up and they would just blast you with circles of the fire spells, and you'd have to run for your life and not get hit and just like run around. And so how I ended up beating that, because that was the part I would usually have the most difficulty in, is like you would get the different blessings. And I got the blessing that would max out your supers. I forget what that was called.
Like a pet pop kind of thing.
The pet pop. Yep, the pet pop blessing. So that would max out my supers. So I would just like line myself up with the boss and the 2 fire guys and go super, 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 and then like knock them out. And so that's how I was able to beat that section of it, and that enabled me to beat the whole thing. So I beat him once, and then I was good. I didn't want to do that ever again. I was like, I beat him.
One and
I'm
done.
good. Yeah, one and done for me. People were like competing for best times. Like Pecci was like trying to go below a minute, and I'm pretty sure he did. I think I beat mine when I finally beat it. It was like 4 minutes. I saw people beating it like 6 to 8 minutes, and I'm like, nope. I'm that is so difficult that I'm just good with beating it the one time, and I'm good. I can say I beat it, and that's it. But I had fun with it.
So what was co-op like? How did everybody like that?
I did it the first day it was available, and after that, I never touched it again because I can see myself like doing a little bit of co-op with you guys, but I have absolutely no interest in co-op with like randoms because I joined a few. It's just how I've always been with any kind of mobile. I'd rather play with a friend or two than ever play with random people, and at least in the closed beta, the only way to play was to have a code shared by somebody else. So in this case, it was going to be whoever was already in the closed beta, or like one of you guys that would be like, hey, let's jump into some co-op. But aside from that, co-op was fine when it was working. We had a lot of disconnect issues, I guess, that first day. I don't know if it was a server thing or if it was people's phones melting down on them from trying to get through it. But it was a lot of fun. It was interesting because the first hour it was open, like nobody could beat it. Everybody was having a problem with it. And then because they made it available 1 hour, and then it was unavailable for an hour, and then it was available for an hour again. So it had a lot of up and down time, and people eventually figured it out. And once it got figured out, it was fun to do.
Yeah, I ended up having so much fun with this, and I appreciated that, and we'll talk about this in more detail later, but I appreciated that the official Discord that they made for it, they ended up building a channel where people could go in and try and build parties there, which I did a little bit, but most of the time I ended up doing it with randos. But I think that's something that hopefully we can do in the Dragon's Den Discord, because that's why I joined the Dragon's Den Discord in the first place, was to do co-op missions for Dragon Quest of the Stars.
The Dragon's Den Discord was originally created specifically to facilitate multiplayer matches in Dragon Quest of the Stars, because when we were trying to do it in the forums, it's just too slow. So
Yeah.
Right.
we were like, let's make a little Discord so we can join and do this, and then it just kind of exploded from there. So fun history fact of the day.
Yes, and I hope that we can continue that when this game officially comes out as well, because that would be
Yeah.
fun. I don't mind playing with randos, like I did that in Stars as well, but it is a little more fun when you can have friends and people that you know that can do it. And I remember in the Discord,
Yeah.
I would live stream it so that we could see it going on we could talk to each other and stuff like that. So that was fun as well. So it'll be interesting. The co-op in this is chaotic, but it's cool. You've got so many enemies coming in different waves. Like this one had I think 5 different waves of enemies, and some of them you had to it's basically gate defense, and so you had to defend this wall. And you had some enemies that would come in that would specifically try and break down the wall. You had some enemies that would go after you. You had rock bombs, you had golems, you had all sorts of different bosses that would come in and try and beat you up, and you could use different weapon loadouts. Some bosses or enemies would have different weaknesses than others and whatnot. So sometimes I would use my claws because those are very effective for some of the boss monsters. Sometimes I would just sit there with my boomerang right in the middle of the board and get the blessings that would make your attacks go out everywhere. So I was just going with the rock bombs and all sorts of different enemies. So it was very interesting because each different wave had a different strategy to it. So I did enjoy that. So I'm looking forward to the different co-op missions that this game will have in the future. The thing I didn't like about it was that you needed that special currency to do it, and that was kind of annoying. That's something that I think, that the Die game did too, and I don't think that's going to be good for encouraging multiplayer when you need the special currency to be able to do it. I think it should be more like Stars, where it's just everyone can do it as long as they have stamina. I believe it was like the stamina was based off whoever the leader was. So if the leader ran out of stamina, so then you could get another friend to be the leader and would use their stamina. So I think that's a much better system. I definitely put that in my feedback, is like, please don't use currency for this. Just use stamina or something to do it, because that will encourage co-op a lot more, I think.
I don't know if this was just a closed beta thing with that though, but the nice thing about it for us was that the currency wouldn't consume if you failed. So you could
That's
try
true.
again, and you could keep trying until you passed, to which it would then consume the token. Hopefully that was not just a closed beta thing that we could just try it out. Hopefully if they stick with the currency, it stays through to retail.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I did like one random co-op thing, and it wasn't interesting to me just to do co-op. Like Bururian said, maybe I was doing it with some of y'all, it'd be different. One of the main memories I have of Stars was playing co-op with well, of course we did it at the Den. That, like you said, that's why we started the Discord. But I was playing co-op with Michi's group was like one of the main memories I have of Stars. Yeah, like having it locked behind a currency sounds pretty restrictive for that reason. Like, imagine there's someone you want to play with and they're doing it at a specific time and you don't have the currency. Like, that would be a bummer.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, I'm out of coins, so I can't play. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't also like that. I thought that was like a terrible thing for like encouraging people to do multiplayer, because it's like on one end, because like I forget, does it consume it for both people? Both like people need to pay, right, to do it?
Yeah.
I think everybody has to pay a coin to play.
I feel like
Pay
that's
to play.
gonna be like terrible for trying to get people to do it, like at some point. So I didn't like that. I thought the mode was fun myself. I kind of like little defensive things, especially like and I like just cooperative stuff in general. I played it a bit with randos, but yeah, I did not like having to like consume stuff to do it. Like, it's fine when you're consuming stuff or like those farming type missions like the metal slime stuff, but not if like you're trying to do something multiplayer.
Well, speaking of randos and participating in co-op on Discord, did anybody actually participate in the official Discord community that was made for the game?
I did not.
You didn't join it?
No, I'm pretty lazy with like Discord for beta stuff like that. I'm in a few, but I never partake. It's pretty bad of me. Although I'm pretty bad at keeping up with people in general.
Yeah, I joined it, but I didn't really, other than to report like one bug that was, or one feedback issue, that was really it.
What
And
kind of stuff did they talk about in the Discord?
Oh, all sorts of stuff. They had a Smash Grow channel, so that was specific to the game. They had a general chat channel. They had the co-op channel that I was referencing before. And then they also did they wanted to encourage participation for other different activities as well. So they had their own Discord rankings for the gauntlet. So there was the overall gauntlet, there was like a Discord only ranking, but then they would also have rankings for like the Golem gauntlet and all the other different gauntlets that they had that was part of the whole. So they had different little contests like that. And then they had like a little guessing game thing in the beginning, like guess what this monster is. And they showed like a silhouette. And if you guessed the silhouette, then you could add a different role
That's cute.
to your person. So I had like I guessed like the king slime and the firebird. So I had like the firebird roll, I had the king slime roll, and I had the different roles that you got from participating in the different gauntlet contests and stuff like that. So that was fun. It was very active. Like I was amazed, especially once the beta kicked off. Like there was a lot of talk by a lot of people for all sorts of stuff for the game. So that was fun to see.
Did they have like any devs or people that connected to them, or were they just relating people to like the?
No, they had Malcolm, who's the community manager, and if you remember from Tact, he was also the community manager for Tact. So he would come in and talk every once in a while and kind of manage the whole thing. But that was about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess they just want to refer everyone to the submission stuff.
Yeah, and they had that too. There was like not only was there the survey that you could do at the end of the game, but they also had a section in the Discord where you could specifically go in and talk about different issues that you had or suggestions that you had. And what was nice about that actually was that they also encouraged you to like give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to anything that someone suggested for the game, so they could tell it wasn't just some like crazy person ranting about something dumb.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So if someone suggested something, it could be like, don't use coins for co-op, for example. Like you'd see like 20 thumbs up.
Yeah.
But then if you said like, oh, get rid of Rolly, he's dumb, you'd see like 15 thumbs down or something like that. So it was interesting to see the dynamics of
good.
that.
Well, if you're able to keep track of that, it'd be nice to see like what they listen to in terms of like the final release.
The Square Enix, one of the Square Enix employees was like, I read them all. I have to read them all. So
Yep. Yeah, because I remember Malcolm at the very end of it was like, yeah, I've got to go through like 200 different types of feedback posts now. It's like I've got some homework.
You start writing him like secret messages in the feedback, like capitalizing specific letters in your comments.
I participated in the Discord, but very little. I did it mostly for the co-op at the very beginning, and outside of that, I didn't really post in the Discord. I would look at the feedback, and I think I left a couple, but the biggest one I left is something I'll mention shortly. But yeah, I participated un poquito.
So what did everyone not like about the game? We'll start with that first, and Roto, we'll start with you.
I'm torn on how gachas with their gacha being gear, how that's going to play out in like the long run. I know we all had gems to spend, but I wonder how much people tried just using like upgrading stuff that you got within the game to see how like free to play friendly it will be.
I do have a response to that, because I did see in someone in the Discord post about that for your very like concern about it, and I think it was like a pair of leggings that was a 2-star, but it was 5x ascended because they had pulled it a number of times and they ascended it to the max possible, and then they leveled it up to the max, and it was as good as a 3-star base level, but that requires getting 5 of them and leveling it up all the way to, I think it was level 30 is the max for 5 times ascended gear. So it's passable, but if you want to do the high end stuff, not really.
But like it's tough when that's like one thing that's you always have like in the back of the head when in terms of like gacha games, because like obviously gacha is gacha, but like the severity of like being able to like play it comfortably without feeling that pressure can be tough.
Yeah,
and that's like my biggest concern, because like I know the question about what we didn't like. I mean, I guess it's coming up. we'll go into what we did like. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned of how that's gonna play out in the long run, just from past mobile games I've played.
What about you, Aust?
I didn't like most of the game. I mean, okay, I didn't like that it was a gotcha. I mean, really, that's what I'm. That's it. It was, it paces things out to be super grindy. There's not much story. The story that's there is not especially well written. The combat was fine. Like it was. I actually think Star's combat was probably the worst out of all of these mobile DQ games. The combat here was fine, and I see the appeal of it. It's did not really hold my interest personally. I think Tact had far better combat. Tact was like that felt like a game I would want to play. Yeah, the combat didn't really hold my interest. And I think I've talked about rewards, which was all the rewards were like one of the most annoying things to me. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's tough because like it's clearly taking like some inspiration from like a lot of different like roguelike games, right? Because like each time you do a level, there's you're getting the blessings from the beginning and everything. And the way that like a lot of your auto attacks go, it very much was like reminds me of like kind of the same vein of like a Vampire Survivors like game. And then you think about like, yeah, this is a gotcha, right? You got to like do all the hoops for that, and then you think about like, oh man, like how much content does a game like Vampire Survivors give in terms of like how much you're constantly unlocking stuff and getting stuff, and like it's still like a one more run kind of game, but something like that's like $5.
And I see a lot of people talking about Vampire Survivors, and I had not played that before, and that seems to be really well talked about. So it may just be that this is not a combat genre for me. I've always been weird about roguelikes. Like I don't dislike them. It has to be a very specific type of game for me to like, because I do get easily disillusioned by the fact that, well, this can just go on forever. There's no real goal. But
Fair,
then again,
yeah.
like there are games like 20XX, which is like the Mega Man X clone style. That's like a roguelike, and I really like that. And I think it has to do with that sort of gameplay.
To add to your point, there is a lot of like oversaturation, it feels like, with that kind of like gameplay elements in like like especially in the mobile market right now.
Yeah. And maybe if the levels hadn't felt so linear to me, that's probably one thing I forgot to mention, is that it didn't feel like there was a lot of exploration. It didn't feel like there was any exploration to do.
No, because it follows that gotcha template of you're going to get 3 to 5 battles before you fight a boss, and instead of it being automatic of you moving between the battles, you kind of move between the areas yourself.
It would be kind of nice if there was like branching paths.
It would be, wouldn't it? Because otherwise, as you move from one battle to the next, you go through these empty sections to where a couple of enemies may pop up. You may get some barrels that drop some pep for your coup de grace or a little bit of health. But outside of that, there's really not much going on in between those, outside of your timer is ticking down to finish the stage. So, but I kind of agree with both Roto and Aust on all points addressed so far with a lot of this.
Yeah, and it felt like like since there was like having branching paths that you could choose would definitely make me feel like I had more of a purpose there, because honestly, especially there at the end, it felt like I was just putting the auto battler on, letting I didn't feel like I was playing the game.
Right.
I felt like I was just claiming rewards.
Yeah, that's how these gotchas get sometimes. Is eventually you put on that 2x speed, or you run that auto complete the stage for the rewards kind of thing, and at that point, it's like, what is the point of playing this?
Until you do the hard mode where you only have 1 HP, and the AI mode just shoots you into some poison swampland and automatically kills you because it doesn't know any better.
Yeah, it decides, I'm going to go into this.
And that's going to be something, right? And that's something that the devs are going to have to contend with, because if there's not enough to hook people, then the game will die out like relatively quickly.
Yeah, because we don't want this to be another Champions, which I know was Japan only, but that's exactly what happened to that one.
Yeah.
Like if you save all the fun stuff for like the very end, then you're only going to get a handful of players that'll make it that far.
The whales.
Yeah, well, the whales, but even the whales are going to want, some of them will want something interesting to do. But like, it just like, hearing us talk about it, that it reminded me of, like, I don't know if any of you guys have played like Slay the Spire.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, I've played that.
Yeah. So, I mean, Austin, if you want to tell them like what it's like where you pick the routes in Slay the Spire.
Well, it's been a while, and I didn't play a ton of it, but that is the one that's like the card game, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah. It's a roguelike, and it's I've played it on PC, but I know it's a mobile title as well. It definitely, like, you don't feel like you're just there. Like, there's a lot of choice involved, and like, I felt like I was really interacting with the game. And I don't know how the community like interacts with that sort of game. I don't know if it's it's definitely held people's attention for quite a while. Because I think that's been, gosh, how long has that game been out?
Yeah, it's definitely been a while.
Long enough. I've heard. It's been a few years because I've heard the name several times.
I think they're like finally getting a second one too.
Hmm.
But yeah, like, so the way that
Yeah, 6 years.
dang. But yeah, so basically like the game is like a one-more run type of game, right? Where you play through a level. But whereas in Smash Grow, like one of the chapters, right, you'd play through like 10 levels. And the way that like a game, like a roguelike, like Slay the Spire works is that like when you start a run, you kind of see this overall map, and depending on which route you go, you'll get different benefits, and that kind of like weighs the pros and cons of like which way you're going. Like, do you want to fight more battles to potentially get more experience? But if you go this way, you might get a shop, or you can get extra things that carry over. And I think when they're developing a game like this that has kind of that, like, you're going to be doing the same thing like over and over by running through these levels, so you're going to want to create ways to like keep people engaged to keep playing the game. Because if you're like in chapter 20 and you're still doing like basically the same like run to room to boss, I mean, it'll get old.
Yeah, something like this could definitely benefit from that sort of gameplay design. And it's still early. I guess maybe they could do updates later on that have more
Variety.
interactive levels.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The levels themselves, when you're running around, got a little samey and repetitious after a while. You go from, I mean, yeah, there's like different types. There's swamp, there's ice, there's fire, there's castles and whatnot, different backgrounds. But it was basically kind of like the same straight line all the way through, pretty much. And I agree that they think they really do need to make branching paths that have different consequences that would make it a lot more engaging for this type of game. So I do agree with that. And then repeating, another thing I didn't like that I know we talked about before, but just to repeat, that I hated that the co-op, as much as I enjoyed the co-op, the fact that you had to use currency to do it, I did not enjoy that at all. So that'd be and then my final gripe would be the fact that it's so difficult to try and get the S level memories that Bururian went into more detail about, because there was that stamp card that you could get for rewards, and I was on the second to last stamp card, and one of those was to get 10 S level memories. And
oh my gosh.
Yes. Even with all the hours that I put in, 30 to 40 hours of gameplay, like, I got 9. I couldn't get 10.
I got 2. I couldn't get above 2.
The devs were like, no one's gonna get this far anyways, don't worry about it.
Oh, there was like another stamp card of like
oh my goodness,
of different objectives.
Have mercy, it was a week.
And and people got it too. There was people that actually got it. They filled out the entire stamp card, but I never got to that last one on the third card. I couldn't get the 10S memories because it was so difficult to get them, because the drop rate for them was so abysmal, which I don't blame them too much, but the fact that to combine them was so difficult and so grindy, like, that was almost just as hard to be able to do it that way as well. So I did that. Like, as much as like the memories were cool, a cool idea, it's just so difficult to get what they wanted to have you do as goalpost. It was too much.
Right.
So what did everybody enjoy most?
It's Dragon Quest. I like Dragon Quest stuff. Like seriously, it's, you could A lot for me personally. A lot of the time, you could make the most schlocky game, but if you make it of something I like, I'm probably going to play it.
Fair.
Except in the name of Tron movies.
Oh,
I think the thing I enjoyed about it most was the blessings. To be honest, even if they weren't so nice to me sometimes on stages, I really enjoyed during the battles as I leveled up. I had control over how my character would evolve in attacks for the stages. But it kind of bounces back to the previous question. While I liked it, at the same time, I feel like there needs to be more blessings because you see a lot of the same stuff, especially, as we have already talked about, you see a lot of the same with this kind of thing. So variety is the spice of life with this, and if we continue playing a lot, we're going to need more. But that was the thing I enjoyed the most, the rogue-like elements.
yeah, I agree for sure. Especially because like a lot of the blessings were pretty samey in terms of like what they did, especially as like the ones that were like the same attacks, but like just very similar effects. But yeah, so I agree that like I liked the concept and I would like to see like a bigger variety. I feel like it would benefit a lot. Or maybe specialized like varieties, like maybe you're more likely to see certain things depending on the weapon. So which would give like more urgency to what weapons you take into with you. And but I thought it was fun for the most part. The combat was simple. I'm not always the most into like touchscreen movement and all that. I like at least that you could touch anywhere where you move, but that's my favorite type of movement systems. Granted, I know it's difficult with mobile games, but I feel like the game has potential for sure in terms of like a Dragon Quest mobile game. Because like you said, that Bururian, that Dragon Quest is just appealing.
It is.
You got the music, you got the characters. That's always fun to see, and it's cool to see things utilized differently than we're expected. And I feel like that's what they do a lot, where in these mobile games where like they do things interesting, but then they end up kind of getting bogged down by some sort of monetization or weird system. I wish they would kind of just release like a game and put it as like a base price, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for me, that part of combat was definitely one of my favorite aspects of it as well, with the blessings, because you'd be running around the board and you could run into statues that would give you a blessing, or certain enemies, after you beat up enough of them, would give you points towards your bar to give you blessings, and the different blessings could vary in terms of what it do for your weapons. Like you could do like more hits at one time, or you could hit something behind you or surround yourself, or you get healed, you could get your pep to be fully charged so that you could have a whole bunch of supers. There were some, Roto, you mentioned some weapon blessings, but they did have some of those. Like I remember with the shiver stick that had the specific blessing for it that would change your range.
Mm-hmm.
And there were different weapon type blessings, but there weren't that many. There was like one per weapon basically, or weapon type.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning, that like more variety. And in one example too that like I just thought of is the one that shoots like the little fire shots that they constantly are going out.
The homing fire shots, yeah.
Yeah. So like I liked how like those went out and you're within your like weapons range. So if you were like a spellcaster, they were essentially going out like the entire time. So those weren't really great like if you had like a close melee weapon. So stuff like that I think is cool.
Oh, I still love that for when I was running around with my claws, because if I was in a situation where I couldn't get up close and attack, I was still doing damage. So I did actually like those. So if I saw homing missiles, I'd be like, yes, I will take those, because then I can constantly do damage even if I'm just dodging and running around. So those were one of my favorites actually.
And it was interesting to see how some of them work together. Like when you use the Falcon Blade, how it gave you the wind orbs, but if you already had orbs, it would just add even more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like combos like that, I think could have a lot of potential to be fun.
Definitely. And the other favorite part of the game for me was Rolly. I did enjoy him and Goopy a lot. They were great mascots. I hope they do a plush for him or a figure. I'd buy it.
Oh, they gotta.
But they never did one for like Mendini. They did one for Magellan, but not for her.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet. It's strange.
Huh.
So many people love her, or at least in the West they did.
Too soon.
But yeah, so Rolly and Goopy, they were great. it made the story for me a lot of fun just to see them bounce around and do whatever. So that was fun. And and the co-op. That was probably my favorite mode. Was the co-op was fun because it was so varied and had many different types of attacks you had to deal with as a group. And that's what I liked about the event, because like the story part was okay and the hard mode had an extra challenge to it, but I did really enjoy the slime invasion event so much because it had a fun little story. It had so many different aspects to it of stuff that you could do. It had the gauntlet, it had the boss mode, it had the co-op. So all of that combined, it made it a lot of fun. So that would probably be my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah, the blessing system, I would have to agree. That was my favorite part, and I guess because that's where I felt like I had the most choice. Yeah, that's I can't think of anything else that stands out more than that.
It's the one positive thing you had about the game.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys hope the game brings out in the future, like, potential events, certain armor sets, particular classes, merchandise, collabs with other IPs? Let's start with you, Oz.
I mean, if they do anything, which I don't think they will, but if they do anything with Dragon Quest X, that would appeal to me personally, but that won't really affect most of the English players.
That is unfortunate.
Merchandise, I guess. It would have to, I'm trying to think of an IP collab that would interest me. It'd have to be very specific. If they do like we mentioned earlier, like doing events from previous Dragon Quest games, I would probably check out if they do a DQ5 thing, but I think that's more or less a given that they'll probably do something like that eventually.
Probably.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be interesting to see what kind of collabs they could come up with. A shout out for Joe, who was almost on this episode, that maybe they could do something with Dai. And I'm just joking because he hates Dai. They did it like 3 times with Tax.
It's because it was the hot thing at the time.
It was, and I loved it, but not everybody did.
Great die resurgency.
I would love to see, especially, I don't know if they'll do anything, and maybe they will because they had a recent anniversary, but because in the West, we recently got the manga. So if they did like the Mark of Erdrick, if they did like crossover with that series, that'd be fun. Get some gear from there, like the red Erdrick armor. That'd be great. Someone mentioned it in the Dragon's Den Discord, and I thought they were a genius for saying it. But if they did a Gundam crossover, that'd be hilarious. Like running around with a bunch of Gundam gear.
Oh, that would be funny.
Would love that. Or if they wanted to do something recent, they could, like if they did like Chainsaw Man, because that would be hilarious. Have like a little chainsaw helmet, something like that. Free Rent would be great because Free Rent is also a fantasy type story, so that would mix in perfectly with Dragon Quest.
True.
So I'd love to see like a Free Rent crossover to get all that gear.
For a fact that they'll probably do a Monster Hunter crossover. Monster Hunter crosses over with everything.
Yeah, true.
Oh, that's right. I've never gotten into Monster Hunter, but my wife loves Monster Hunter, and she's been playing this beta as well, and so I'm sure she would love that. So that'd be great.
I'll never forget telling her that like I played Monster Hunter, and she's like, "You have better taste in games than Sean." Play Monster Hunter.
But yeah, I would love to see more classes. I'm sure they will. I'm sure these are just like the base classes for the beginning of the game, and it'll branch out into other ones. But just like we got to do a little bit in Stars, I would love to see all the different classes, like seeing Gladiator and Paladin and Gadabout, Superstars, all that stuff. That'd be great. I remember in Stars, Gadabout, it was like a almost worthless class, but you could use it in co-op to have a better chance to have stuff drop. So it was like your lucky drop person for that.
And it was near impossible to get because you had to do it in the casino.
Oh, that's right.
That was just so ridiculous.
That was pain.
I only know one person that got it.
Yeah, it was she played it with us in the Dragon's Den.
It was Meal.
Yeah. She was from France and she got it.
Yeah.
We were like, wow, we can't believe you grinded that out, but she got it. And then we'd have her in our party all the time for the good drops.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said before, I'd love to see like a Broly, Goopy plush or character, like them together with Goopy on his head. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. And then like, all the basic stuff, like, do Dragon Quest 8, do Dragon Quest 7, do those armor sets and whatnot. Usually I just like to see my favorites, Dragon Quest 4, Dragon Quest 8, Dragon Quest 11. They do all that stuff that'll make me happy too. What about you, Roto?
Yeah, I mean, like for sure, like collaboration stuff would be a great hit. It feels like with all the different properties and mobile games that ScreenX has, even if they kept them to in-house, like there'd be a lot for them to take advantage of, or for like cross promotions. Yeah, I could definitely see like Monster Hunter doing something. They just put like Omega from Final Fantasy in Monster Hunter, and so they're like always interesting stuff. The thing with like Dragon Quest that always has potential is like, do they get like continue with the Akira Toriyama style art for like stuff that they collaborate with? I think that's like the most fun appeal for like other properties collaborating with Dragon Quest. But in terms of the in-game stuff, there's definitely a lot of like interesting like armors and weapons from the series that they can pull besides the ones that they have. The same with like classes. It'd be kind of cool to see how different stuff worked. Because when I thought about the combat, like one of the things that kind of stuck out was like what was the name of the class? I don't know if it was Ranger from 9 that like got like the wolf whistle and stuff like that. I know we also have Rough, but like that could be interesting, but I don't know how that would work with like the weapon system. So maybe they could have other abilities, maybe to like supplement combat. That could be interesting. And like I said, that I think the game has potential. Just will it get to it? I don't know, but I could see them doing a lot with it.
I'd love to see them do a Final Fantasy collaboration because it's their other big flagship franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't know who. Well, let's be real. If they did it, it would be Final Fantasy VII related.
Yeah,
Of course.
Play as Cloud Strife or Tifa. Tifa as a martial artist. Aerith as a priest.
Now, has there been Dragon Quest stuff in the one you've been playing, the like Ever Crisis?
Ever Crisis, no, but they did do a Dragon Quest collaboration in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius back in the day. I got all of those units, and they were pretty fun because it had like the Dragon Lord and it had the Hydra slimes, metal
Yeah, I remember that
slimes,
one.
Robin Hood, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that event was fun. I remember that.
Yeah, but no, they haven't done anything like that yet.
Well, then that means they have room to. They'll put in
Yeah.
the childhood friend and the robot, and then
There you go.
throw in Cloud and Tifa. And
I mean, Tifa's a no-brainer for the martial arts class. Just
Yeah.
equip her with some crystal claws and let her go to town.
that'd be fun.
That reminds me that a Final Fantasy game that is in America, or in English at least, recently did a collab with Tact, and that just made me sad because we don't have Tact anymore. But you could get the Tact stuff in this Final Fantasy game in English.
Which game was that?
Which one?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was very recent.
Oh, maybe it was Ever Crisis. Actually, no, it was Ever Crisis.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I just found the trailer. It was from 2 months ago.
Yeah, very, very recent. So I was like, hey, you can get Tact people in Ever Crisis, but do you want to play Tact? No, too bad.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they had like Sage gear for Aerith and Erdrick gear for Cloud.
I meant to play during that time, and I just forgot.
Oh,
Womp
no.
womp.
They even have Magellan in Ever Crisis. That's hilarious.
Ah, good old Magellan.
Oh, well.
But what did Tact get from Final Fantasy?
Yeah, it was odd to me when they did the Tact Final Fantasy crossover back in the day. I forget what Final Fantasy game they collabed with, but getting those different characters from Final Fantasy was interesting. But I would not object to it because I remember getting Cloud Strife's sword in Stars, and it was hilarious. I loved having that huge oversized sword for my character in Stars. I loved it.
Well, what was everyone's overall impression? And do you plan on playing the 1.0 release when it comes out?
Positive overall reception of it. I'll definitely download it and play it when it first comes out. We'll see what changes they make. Biggest change I hope they make is text legibility, because sometimes that text would get pretty squishy because they're probably running into that issue with they only have a certain number of text boxes to get a certain amount of characters out, and I noticed that sometimes the text gets really tiny and squished together when they've got a lot to say, which goes into previous comments about quit being so wordy to say so little. Otherwise positive. I'm looking forward to it. With these kinds of games, I definitely am usually big on gotchas for like the first month, and then not so much after. So we'll see how long it sticks around this time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it when it releases. I didn't like invest a super lot of time like in the beta because I knew that like stuff we were gonna do wasn't gonna be carried over. But yeah, I feel I'm eager to see like what feedback they take away from the closed beta, because I know that like a lot of my friends, like no one got in on it. Like I was telling them like, oh hey, had you seen like stuff on Smash Bros? And they were like, no, is it available? Like one of my friends who usually plays mobile games with me, he was like, where can I download it? I was like, oh, it's not available yet. So like that'll be nice when you can actually play like co-op with people. So I'm looking forward to the release, and like we said at the top, that the risk with like Dragon Quest mobile games is that they don't support them for a long time. So the early impressions would probably be really important.
I will not be playing it on release. As I mentioned before, if there's like a DQ5 crossover or something, I might poke my head in and look at it, or I may just see if somebody else has footage of it. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you can bet there will be people that upload all that stuff when it comes out.
Reminds me of like I remember seeing the YouTube channels of like people breaking down that like the Kingdom Hearts mobile games for their story.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I had a very positive impression of the game. I wasn't sure what to expect because I wasn't like a huge fan of like the action type gameplay that Dai had. I didn't play it until like the last month or two when it was closing down and they were just giving everything away for free, so I could just binge through it and get through all the levels and whatnot. But I was pleasantly surprised with the combat, and I actually enjoyed it because I don't think I've ever played a roguelike game ever before. So this is my first time of any kind of roguelike game.
Really?
Yeah. And because I remember talking with you about it, I think, and I was like, does Turnico count? And you're like, that's not quite the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mystery Dungeon. It's Mystery Dungeon. It is, but it isn't. But it is, but it isn't.
Okay. So it's similar-ish, at least?
Well, it depends on who you ask. A lot of people would say that, yes, it is a roguelike.
It plays like one, right? But it lacks the randomization. Is that it?
I mean, the levels are going to be random.
Yeah.
The items are going to be random. So it is a roguelike.
And I was horrible at that game, too.
See, I've never thought of it as one,
Oh, okay.
but see, I think the first Dragon Warrior Monsters on GBC plays like or on the Game Boy plays like a roguelike.
That more or less plays like how Tornado plays, but Tornado's got that out of dungeon progression.
Start all over again.
So, but that's at that point we're just splitting hairs on genre.
Okay.
So
yeah, and I was horrible at Tornico: The Last Hope. Like I couldn't get past anything. I kept dying. So, but this is obviously it's gotcha friendly and simpler overall, and I had a fun time with it, and I enjoyed building up my characters and all of that. So yeah, I'll definitely play it upon release. I don't know if I'll put in as much as I did with Tact, because I loved Tact because it had that turn-based strategy gameplay that I love so much. You got to collect monsters instead of gear, so that's something I do prefer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, both of those things endeared me to Tact. It was really just the gotcha stuff that turned me off of it. Like I really enjoyed playing the actual gameplay.
But the gear can be fun too, because I remember looking through some screenshots that I had of stars, and I saw the summer gear that we could get. Like we could get the surfboard and the slime bikini and all that kind of stuff, goofy stuff. So that's always fun. So yeah, I'll definitely play it. I don't know if I'll go into it as hardcore as I did with Tact, but I'll definitely give it a go and see what I think. And yeah, I enjoyed it. So we'll see how it goes. And hopefully this does last. I do appreciate, and I was surprised that, well, A, that we got it at all, and B, that they're going to release it at the same time for once, which is great. Like I said, they've only done that with Dai. So I'm hoping that that's a good sign that, hey, we're all in it together, and hopefully it will last a long time. And I remember back when Tact was coming out, because of how dismal Stars did, they're like, oh, it's going to only last like 9 months, a year, and then it ended up lasting 3. So that was good. So could have been better because, it did get canceled and it's still going on in Japan, but hopefully this one does last. So we'll see how it goes.
I just wish that companies would make a version that you could just play even after they stop supporting it.
Yes.
Oh, so Mega Man X Dive actually.
Yes, that was a good example of that. Yeah.
They pulled it. I bought it. I played through it. I had a great time because you can control, because you take away the stamina bar.
Right.
It loses the PvP because that's an online component no one wants to have to manage, but that's fine. That's okay. But there's been mods where people have patched in all of the collaboration stuff that was not included with the release of it. this is the only example I've ever seen of a gacha game getting released post shutdown, and it's fantastic because you get to play at your own speed.
Yeah, you don't often see that at all with gacha games.
Yeah, I'd hope more games do that. When Gundam shuts down, Pendy, I'm gonna be crying.
Well, hey, that's been very successful so far, so I'm thinking that's going to last because they keep giving us free diamonds for being number one rated among all gacha games or something like that.
I need my diamonds.
Okay, we're way off topic here, and I think we've dissected the beta quite thoroughly. So that's all for this episode of Slime Time. We'd like to thank LordRoto for joining us on this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
We're a nonprofit podcast. We won't smash your hard-earned gold when we can grow you quality content for free. But if you do have some extra gold that's just completely burning a hole in your wallet, pouch, bottomless bag, hanging wall sack, or treasure chest, and you would like to donate anything to a website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for over 25 years, stop by the Dragon's Den by clicking the link in the show notes. There are several ways to support the Den, including affiliate links that don't cost you anything extra when making other DQ purchases, especially the upcoming Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, and also the new upcoming manga volumes of The Adventure of Dai and the Mark of Erdrick manga.
We have various Slime Time t-shirts for sale, both designed by our artist, Dwayne. And as of recently, we now have stickers.
Stickers! You can direct comments or questions for the podcast on X, Blue Sky, and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
Also join in tons of Dragon Quest discussion at the Dragon's Den forums or Discord, the Dragon Questers Facebook group in Discord, and our own Slime Time Facebook group.
Please like, subscribe, and write a review for the podcast.
Dragon Quest Slime Time, sliming off.
This is Gertrude for Slime Time, reminding you all that you must complete your adventure.